Okay, are we good? Okay, awesome. So what is your morning to-go drink? Is it water or nothing? But for most people, it's coffee or tea. So caffeine is something that it's an integration in our daily lives and something many people cannot live without. If you're like me, caffeine is part of my daily life. And whether that be through drinks, sweets, or certain medication. Today, we will learn why caffeine is considered a great stimulant for the brain and body, but it can also be very dangerous if not careful with it. Caffeine has many effects, both positive and negative, and is found in coffee, tea, chocolate, soda, and energy drinks. So what is caffeine exactly, and how is it defined? So caffeine is known as a natural bitter substance or a crystalline compound found in many contemporary drinks and foods. It has physiological effects, and based on Neil J. Samchusk from the Dean of College of Science at University of Texas at Arlington, at the cellular level, caffeine blocks the action of chemical phosphodiesterase or PDE, which then stops the breakdown of something called cyclic adenosine monophosphate or CAMP, which helps neurotransmitters and hormones cross the cell membrane. And the effects of CAMP are prolonged, and the response of the body is amplified. So in short, what does that mean? It speeds up messages traveling between the brain and the body. The heart at this point prompts norepinephrine, and this increases the rate and the force of your heart muscle contractions, which leads to the fight or flight behavior many of us get when having caffeine. And this in turn also increases blood pressure and delivers more oxygen throughout the body. So the effects of caffeine is mainly seen through the brain, heart, and the body. Caffeine is known to help us in a lot of ways, such as staying awake during early mornings or those late nights, but it also has a lot of other positive attributes to it. Based on Johns Hopkins medicine, caffeine is linked to lower chance of developing Parkinson's disease and may help those with it to better control their movements. According to the same source, the caffeine in just 2 cups of coffee may provide significant protection against Alzheimer's disease, as it neurologically makes you more aware and helps you with your memory. In addition, because caffeine allows for more blood flow throughout the body, you're less likely to develop heart failure, coronary heart disease, and strokes. So as much as research has shown the benefits of caffeine, it is important to also understand the negative effects and the concerns that come with it. So we're all no strangers to 2 or 3 cups of coffee or tea or energy drinks in a single day. But did you know that heavy caffeine use can also cause negative side effects? The Mayo Clinic definitely says so. According to the Mayo Clinic staff of doctors and researchers, if you drink more than 4 cups of caffeinated coffees a day, or the equivalent of in energy drinks or sodas and candies, this can cause headaches, nervousness, fast heartbeats, muscle tremors, and insomnia. Caffeine interferes with sleep, which is great when you need to stay up, but not when you actually need sleep. So even having caffeine in the afternoon, says the Mayo Clinic, can interfere with your sleep, which then disturbs your daytime alertness and performance. So just as a visual, I have a coffee bean right here. It's this small, and this has 6 milligrams of caffeine in it, which might not seem like a lot, but the more you have in your system, the more it builds up. So caffeine can also increase depression and anxiety as a result of overstimulation when overloading on caffeine. Essentially, caffeine is a never-ending cycle. When you feel tired, you have caffeine, but then the caffeine keeps you awake. So then you have more caffeine, and it just goes on and on. With all this caffeine in your system, where does it go? So the caffeine is broken down in your liver, and according to the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, though it's absorbed within 45 minutes, it can stay in your bloodstream for about 1.5 to 9.5 hours, meaning that it can build up if you're not careful with it. Harvard also says that caffeine toxicity has been observed with intakes of just 1.2 grams or more in one dose. So going back to the coffee bean, this is 6 milligrams, so 1.2 grams of just adding all this can lead to caffeine toxicity. And dangerous blood levels are shown and most often seen when people take pills of caffeine to either lose weight or to keep them active. I know we don't often think about it, but mixing caffeine with other drugs can also be dangerous for us. As mentioned by the Alcohol and Drug Foundation, drinking while having caffeine can mask the effects of the alcohol, which can lead to more drinking and then more harm-related stuff. Mixing caffeine with medications that can help asthma, the common cold, or even low blood pressure can increase the risk of a heart attack or a stroke or even a seizure. So in conclusion, caffeine can be something that's really great and wonderful, but it can, by increasing brain activity and blood flow, but it's important to understand the risks that also come with it and the anxiety and heart conditions if not used properly. Thank you. I completely forgot to show a visual. I have it up, but let me just show it right now.
Okay.
Okay. So this is just a graph saying like age groups of people drinking caffeine. So mostly, I was surprised it's not here where it says 19. Can you guys see it? There you go. 19 to 30. It doesn't show that many people drinking caffeine, but then 31 to 50, it shows a lot. Oh, wow. So I'll incorporate that more into my speech.
Oh, wow. I definitely do drink a lot of coffee, and I'm drinking coffee right now. But I really loved your presentation when it came to caffeine. I like how you showed the coffee bean, and I was really surprised when you were saying the information about that, like how much is actually in that coffee bean. Yeah. Just try not to like look down your notes and try to like keep eye focus, but understand the what happened. So yeah, though that's like my only feedback. You had a really good pace, and I really liked your visuals. If you could, yeah, just incorporate that visual that you forgot to show like during like the speech. But yeah, that's my only feedback.
I will say that I did like that you had like an actual physical prop kind of to show too, because you're the only one that really did that. So that was cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah.
Yeah, adding what Nicole and Brandon said, I really like everything. Like, I like the information about coffee because I do drink coffee a lot. I'm drinking water right now, but usually I drink coffee every day. And yeah, well, the only things that you need to improve would be just to practice a little bit more.
Right.
So you can focus on the camera and on the visuals and everything. And the visual, I like that visual that you showed the coffee bean too. It was funny. Well, for me, I liked it. I laughed a little bit, but because you were like just this coffee bean and you were telling the information about it, which was really interesting, and you really catch me with that. So if you integrated the coffee bean too, like the physical one, it would help you a lot, I think.
Okay, cool. Thanks. And then for my conclusion, I like randomly ended it. Was that too abrupt, do you think? I just said overall caffeine can have good and bad effects. Like
maybe restate your kind of like bring it back to the like where you start as well. Maybe
yeah,
give it more
like
impacts.
review like the main points you talked about for your conclusion and like closing with impact.
Yeah, it's similar to what we said for I forget who it was. Maybe it was Jose, but it's kind of like it works, but you could make it stronger if you wanted to, you know.
Oh, that was for me, I think.
That was for
that was for me, I think.
Sorry. Okay, I can present what I have real quick, I guess. It's not going to be super in-depth. I'm still missing like a paragraph or two, but better to get like A grade, I guess.
And then don't worry about it.
Like if I get like a 1, it's better than a 0, right?
That's true.
Yeah. So my presentation is going to be on mental health and how it relates to homelessness. I don't know if you're aware, but there are over 500,000 homeless people in the United States. 30% of those live in California, in our state, and about 50% of the homeless that are also unsheltered, meaning they don't have like a homeless shelter to go to, they don't have like, they're basically just living under bridges. They all live in California. So there's a couple reasons for that. It mostly starts in the 1980s, goes through to our current problems today with inadequate mental health resources, inadequate housing availability, and other issues. And then I'd like to finish up with kind of some resources that are available in the local community to help people that need them. If you see anybody that might need it, things like that. Mental health has been an ongoing American issue. It's pretty much never been a good situation here. You might see horror stories or be familiar with them of like mental health asylums and how poorly they treated their patients. And in the 1980s, the government decided to cut funding because of those reasons, but they didn't have backup places for these people to go to. So they closed the mental health asylums and they turned the patients out on the street, which is why you'll notice that a lot of people out on the streets have mental health issues today. In fact, it's estimated that almost 75 homeless women in California have severe mental health issues, and 10% of our most violent incarcerated are also considered to have disabling mental health issues, that they be in mental health hospitals if they've been identified before they committed their crimes. And I kind of stall out, and I need to finish the rest of the essay. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. It like froze on Jose's face, just staring at me blank face for like 10 seconds after I said that's it.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
my bad.
It's still a work in progress. I'm struggling like really hard with the last portion, which is like resources, because I don't want to like kind of recommend bad resources. So I'm still like trying to do more research into like what would be the most effective like way to deal with like issues that you see in your local community, etc. Like it's easy to describe the history, but it's harder to talk about like what can we actually do and things like that.
Yeah.
What do you plan on using for your visual aid?
So for my visual aid, I actually have two graphs out on my computer, and one shows like the population of homeless people and the like percentage wise, not necessarily like the numbers, and its increase from the 1980s, which is where I'm picking as my starting point, because that's kind of in my mind the beginning of the health crisis. And so modern day, I've also got like images. I'm not sure I'm going to use those of like legislation being passed in court, because recently there was like a bill that was passed by Governor Newsom to increase availability for availability for and funding for mental health homes for homeless people. And then I'm probably also going to look for like maybe a graph of, not a graph, but like a pie chart, something like that, of homeless by state, something like that, just to give like an overall like feeling of like where like the modern day is, like, you know. When's our final due? Next week for this?
Well, we're planning on recording next week, yeah, for a final.
Okay.
Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna wonder. I was
Friday?
asking,
Yeah, next
because
Friday.
I know we have next
1:30.
week off.
Yeah, 1:30 we'll
Okay.
do it.
Friday, 1:30.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think those two visuals will work for your presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
just
thanks for the feedback, guys.
put more into it, and then you got it.
Yeah, I like your speech about mental health and relating to homeless. I really like it because I never thought about it actually. And yeah, well, it's obvious you just need more paragraphs, the more information that you need. And the two visuals, it would help a lot.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely something I need to. I'm just like struggling to like sit down and like work through it, but I just gotta knuckle down and finish it up. Just get something out, I guess.
Good.
I really like it so far, though.
Thank you.
Like,
I appreciate that.
like your tone about speaking about it was like it wasn't fast or it wasn't slow or anything, and it looked like you really knew what you were talking about, which was great. So
Yeah. Well, thanks for everyone's feedback. I I'm gonna go finish this tattoo.
Yeah.
Okay, have fun. All right, you can end the recording.
Got you.